Coach Olen, UC San Diego is entering its final year of reclassification. Could you share with us what that means and a preview of your upcoming season?
Yeah, we're looking forward to next year and being able to participate fully, having the ability to go to the postseason and those type of things are something that we're really excited about. It's been a long transition, but we're not skipping the steps. We're excited about this year and this group, and um, so yeah, we can't wait for future access to postseason and all the things that come with being finished with the transition. But we're also really excited about this group and kind of this journey this season. So yeah, it's an exciting time down here all the way around.
And with the new season comes a new group of incoming and returning players. Of those coming back is senior Bryce Pope. He averaged 18.4 points per game last year and was named to the preseason all conference team. Could you talk about his importance to the roster and what makes him such a good scorer?
Yeah. I mean, he's a huge part of what we've been doing really since he stepped foot on campus, and so it's been fun to see his maturation, both as a player and a person. We're hoping to see some continued development from him. I think he's really focused on some of the things outside of scoring the basketball. That part comes really naturally to him. He's a talented guy in terms of putting the ball in the basket, and I think everybody realizes he's the guy who has the ball at the end of the game for us. He had a bunch of big shots and a couple game winners last year, and obviously the numbers he puts up in the box score in terms of the points are impressive. But just the way he works and competes and that kind of foundation that he sets for our group is important. And he's really developing as a guy who can make some plays for other people too. And we've talked to him a lot about how teams are going to really focus on him and prepare for him each night, and that he's going to have to vary up his game a little bit and be a little less focused purely on the scoring aspect. Obviously, that's always going to be a big part of what he does, but I think his ability to do some other things will be important for us too.
As he sets the tone for the team, are there any other players on the roster that we should watch out for?
Oh yeah, certainly. I think the obvious one for us is Francis Wakoria, who's along with Bryce. Like Francis is the other guy who's played significant minutes, has a fair amount of experience, and has played at a high level in the Big West. So Francis Francis's contributions don't always show up in the box score. Bryce's points are pretty obvious. Francis does a lot for us in terms of matchups defensively, a lot of versatility there, rebound the ball. We ask him to do so much. He scores it as well. He's kind of one of those guys who does just a little bit of everything. He's so well rounded, and he just makes a ton of plays. So, along with Bryce, Francis, like those two guys coming back as kind of our core is we felt like was a really good foundation to build around, and we feel like we've added some pieces that complement them and can elevate our entire team.
And looking ahead into the upcoming season, you do host national runner-up San Diego State, and you'll be playing Cal, who you are 2-0 against for the third year in a row. Can you talk about your stacked non-conference schedule?
Yeah, we got a great schedule. I mean, you mentioned two of the really good teams that we're playing, but we feel like we have a whole non-conference schedule full of those teams, and we're certainly challenging ourselves in the non-conference. The two that you mentioned are kind of marquee matchups, and we're fortunate that Coach Dutcher and San Diego State are willing to come over across the street here and play us at home. I think everybody's really excited about that opportunity coming off a season like they're coming off of, to have them in our building. I think as we go through this transition and we continue to try to establish ourselves, obviously in the Big West, but also just in the Division I landscape, these type of home environments and opportunities to play these type of teams in our building do so much to showcase our program on a larger stage. It brings energy to the campus. It does a lot for um, what we're trying to build here, and so you know as competitors, everybody's fired up to play those in those environments and against those type of teams, and we try to put together a schedule that um, will accomplish those things. I feel like we've done it.
I'm sure the team has been building and preparing this offseason. For one, in the summer, you all went on a foreign tour along with the women's team. One of the coaches got engaged, and for some on your team, it was the first time foreign experience. Could you share with me a little bit about the uniqueness of the joint men's and women's tour, and if you have any fun stories to share?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's a lot of teams who are doing foreign tours these last couple of years because everyone sort of took a hiatus from that with the pandemic and all the things that went along with that. So now that everybody it's a little easier to get out and travel, I think a lot of teams are looking to do that. Yeah, ourselves and our women's team, we're kind of on the same schedule now with the foreign tour. So we went to the same place, and it wasn't exactly like on the same tour. We were at different hotels and a little bit different trips, but really cool experience to, provide that type of opportunity to our players, our athletes, you know, and have them see a different part of the world. A lot of them have never left the country. And so to experience that with our players, the women's team as well, and just it was a really unique experience. Mentioned Coach Stapleton getting engaged. I think that was a highlight for sure. Gondola ride in Venice, was cool for them, and they were in kind of the last boat, so our whole team was waiting for them to come back. Everybody, but Katie, I think, knew what was coming, so it was cool for them to come back, and everybody was celebrating, and that was a unique moment that everybody enjoyed. And I think just exposing our guys to European basketball a little bit, and kind of the cultural differences in another part of the country. Some of the gyms didn't have air conditioning. It's a little warm in August, so we were doing some of the team meetings, maybe outside versus the locker room, or trying to find places that were cooler. One of the games, our team meeting room being outside. Before the game, we wanted to go back at halftime, but couldn't just because there was a lot of cigarette smoke in that area. So just kind of a unique experience to play basketball in a different part of the world. One of the games we played was a sold out arena with, people chanting and waving flags. And so we got like a really cool game environment out of it. So unbelievable trip all the way around. And our guys had, a variety of experiences that they may never get again. So it was a privilege to do.
Well, with the new season around the corner, there's lots to look forward to this year as the program looks to make strides in the conference. But thank you so much for your time, Coach.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.